So, welcome to the first series, or the first, sorry, not series, the first masterclass in the health series that I'm conducting with different practitioners across these 2 months. So, today we're going to be discussing the emotional root causes of autoimmune diseases, and with me, Sreebala, a very, very good friend of mine that a lot of you know, is also helping us out with. So let me just share this screen. Before that, I want to ask you, how many of you who are attending right now are experiencing or having autoimmune diseases? I cannot see. I know
I
few of
have
you.
urticaria. I'm not sure if it is autoimmune disease.
You have what?
Urticaria, wherein whenever there's a stress, I get like rashes and all these things.
Ah, okay, okay, got it. Yeah, that is. I think that is autoimmune. Geetika, I know Geetika has. Some of you know people who have, I think. I know some of you have joined because you know people who have. Monica also, okay. Okay.
Yeah, have it myself. It's kind of coming up again. There was kind of remission, I thought, from Ari,
Hmm.
but it's acting up with pain and swelling and soreness. And our daughter, that's my husband, Tony, our daughter has juvenile RA and she's
Right, yes.
quite struggling.
Yeah, you told me about this. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So we're just going to dive into um, few diseases, not in detail because none of us here who are conducting are medical experts, but we do want to touch up on the emotional aspect of it, right? Let me just share the screen quickly. You all can see the screen, yeah? Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
Thank you. So, our body is a representation, a physical representation of whatever's going on within. So that's emotions, feelings, thoughts, what we eat, what we say, how we communicate with ourselves. All of this is what the body shows up as. That's why when we go on diets, when we work on ourselves on an emotional and mental level, when we pray, when we exercise, we see changes in the body because all of those things reflect on a physical level, right? So the body is a result of how we perceive the world and how we identify ourselves and the world around us. So when we're born, our muscles and our bones are not fully formed, right? They're very flimsy. That's why we're very careful with newborn babies. And slowly we start identifying them. We say, oh, okay, this is a girl child or this is a boy child. And then we start dressing them up. Okay, girls can grow their hair, guys can't. Now everything's possible, now everything's mixed, but we still have some traditional things that we follow. So that's the identification, that's the conditioning, that's the ego, right? So, of course, these identities and how we perceive the world, it changes over a period of time based on whatever is going on inside, whatever's going on outside, and then the body will also accordingly change. What's going on inside changes based on how we perceive the world. So, today I may, if I'm not experiencing anything, any grave danger or threat, I may look at life as a very simple and easy, in a very simple and easygoing way. But say, for example, I've been through some emotional abuse. I've lived in a family where there is a lot of conflict happening every single day. Then I won't necessarily look at life or at myself as something that's very simple and easy to go through, right? Or I may not feel very safe in my environment. So the perception changes based on our emotional experiences. Some people, if you see two people who have grown up in the same household, will not have the same experience. And this is why we'll come to this, but I just want to mention this here as well. This is why, even though diabetes and all are there genetically, one person has it. Maybe one child develops or inherits it, but the other child doesn't. And these are the things that don't have a very solid medical explanation. And it always needs a trigger point for that part of the DNA to get activated, for that illness to get activated in the body. And the trigger is always an emotional trigger, because how we perceive life is through our emotions. It's not through the brain. The brain just analyzes, but it analyzes only based on emotions. That's why it's so important to understand that emotional root cause. Without an emotional root cause, there is no physical, there is no mental, there's no identity, and there is no effect. There is no cause, there's no effect, right? So in autoimmune diseases, we usually say that the body attacks itself. The only time something gets attacked is if there's like an invasion or a lack of boundary, and someone or something feels attacked is when someone feels attacked, they start feeling threatened. So if there were a war taking place, the person or the people who are experiencing that attack feel threatened, they feel unsafe. And this is exactly what's going on in the body as well. So at some point during a person's growth, the immune system, which is supposed to be protecting us, which is supposed to be protecting the body from harmful virus, bacteria, infections, start getting confused between what is a threat and what is actually healthy. So then it starts attacking the body's organs itself. That's basically what happens in all autoimmune diseases. And this is why there is no cure. There's no explanation where this stems from, why the immune system suddenly shifts. So this is a case of, I and a lot of people call it a mistaken identity. So if you take it as two people, one person attacking another person, you will only attack a person if you find them to be threatening towards you, or if you want to dominate, or if you want to protect yourself. Otherwise you're not going to disturb another person's space, or if you want that. Now if part of the body is attacking itself, there that play of dominance, that play of you are unsafe for me, and all of these things happen. So the root cause of all this, everything comes down to the perception, right? So the only time when an attack happens, you feel threatened, but when you attack also you feel threatened. So the body is feeling threatened before the immune system has started attacking the body itself. And the body obviously is not able to identify, the immune system is not able to identify, nobody's able to identify what the threat is. Sometimes most of the time, the threat is not what we think the threat is. That's why it's a mistaken identity. The body thinks it's one thing, but it's actually something else, and it goes and attacks. So I'll just go through some very key diseases. Not key, but just some things that have a lot going on, which kind of ripple into every other autoimmune disease. Okay, so Epstein-Barr virus is one of the most important ones and least talked about, actually. If you look at the root causes of arthritis, the root causes of candida, the root causes of fibromyalgia, Parkinson's, lupus, most autoimmune disease, the root cause of inflammation itself, it is Epstein-Barr virus. Epstein-Barr virus, like like it is mentioned in the name, it's a virus in the herpes family and it doesn't have a cure. This thing has been going on for years, for generations, and almost every second person on the planet has this. It's just dormant in the blood cells, but almost every person has it. And it just takes something, like we said earlier, it just takes something to trigger that disease in the body. So it's also known as mono in the West, especially the kissing disease. Sure, a lot of you would have heard of this. So what happens when people talk about mono? The first thing they do is, oh my God, you're not supposed to be in contact with someone else because through touch, through cough, through sneezing, through all of these, you can spread it. It's a communicable autoimmune disease. It's a communicable virus, right? And what does that make you? That makes you untouchable. So the emotion there that's playing is I'm untouchable. Some other triggers are, of course, stress is what triggers EBV the most, and a very weak immune system and hormonal changes. So especially adolescence, that's kind of when this starts, or menopause. This is around the time when EBV activates in most people. So in front of you, you'll see a lot of symptoms. You have bloating, body aches, weakness, chills, fatigue, headache, dizziness. These are things that are there in almost all autoimmune diseases. The fatigue, the swelling in the lymph nodes, especially underarms and around your throat, around your collarbone. So extreme fatigue, fever, sore throat, swollen spleen, swollen liver. You need to pay attention to the parts of the body here. Throat is about communication, it's how we show up in the world. Underarms, neck, rashes, these are all about the things that you hide and the things that you show. Your skin is everything that people see in front of you. Then you have a swollen liver, a swollen spleen. Your liver stores anger, it stores past experiences. Your spleen stores fear. So all of these, there's anger, there's tiredness, there's helplessness, there's I'm not good enough, there is I'm not supposed to be in this world, I'm untouchable. These are all the emotional root causes. And the reason I'm saying this, just analyze this in a way where whichever part of the body you're having a problem in, wherever the symptom is showing up, it doesn't matter what the disease is, but wherever the symptom is showing up, see what part of the body that is and what does it do for you. So if it's the hand, what do you do with that hand? If it's the throat, what do you do with that throat? What do you do with your voice? You express, you speak. So when the throat gets affected, it's an issue with expression. It's an issue with being authentic. If you have pain in parts of the bodies, then it's an issue with doing too much. What do you do after you get the pain? Do you rest? After you become numb? After you completely become paralyzed, when that part of the body becomes completely paralyzed, you can't do anything. So the result, when the result is that you can't do anything and you feel helpless, the root cause is also helplessness. And the body is just expressing it because it's just expressing the perception you already have of yourself. Yeah, does that make sense? So some of the emotional root causes of EBV are being untouchable, being feeling oppressed because of your throat, lack of freedom, not feeling free enough to express your opinions, your ideas, go out, explore the world. Because a lot of people with EBV, if you ask them, they can't move. It's too much. The pain, the fatigue is just too much. Someone's mic is on. Second. Lack of belongingness. When you have such an issue and you're not able to do anything with yourself, with your life, you kind of hold yourself up in a hospital or in your bedroom because you can't do anything, you can't move. If you're so tired, you won't be able to move, you won't be able to talk to people. So you won't feel like going out anywhere. So there's loneliness, there's lack of support, there's lack of belongingness, lack of safety. Now, lack of safety is the root cause for literally every single problem we have in life, every single disease we have. And we'll come to that when we talk about the generational patterns. Next, we have Hashimoto's. Hashimoto's disease. This is also a very famous and severe one. This is basically when the thyroid cells are attacked by the immune system. So not enough thyroid is produced and can lead to hypothyroid as well. So this looks like an enlarged neck if you can see in the picture. It causes fatigue, constipation, dry skin, difficulty concentrating. So your brain, your stomach, your digestive system, your skin gets affected. Your entire musculoskeletal aspect of the body, your nervous system gets affected. So these are like some very common things in all of the autoimmune diseases. All parts of the body get affected with just one problem. So some triggers are they say that there can be too much iodine in the diet. So a lot of, I think, fish, radiation exposure, pregnancy issues, genetics, and other autoimmune diseases like arthritis, lupus, MS. All these things can lead to Hashimoto's. So most of the time, when you have one of the diseases, you'll have another one playing at the back as well. Maybe the degree of that is less, but I've seen in most people, it's like one or two playing at the same time. And that's because the symptoms for almost all of these are very, very, very similar. Almost all of them have fatigue and fever, constipation issues, digestive issues. So with Hashimoto's, the emotional root causes are, some of them are lack of freedom to speak, to express again, suppress thoughts or ideas, shame in hurting someone else. We suppress our own voice because we feel like something that we're going to say is going to hurt someone else. And we hold a lot of shame because of that, so that when you hold shame because of something, when you hold guilt because of something, what do you end up doing? You end up not making that mistake. So I will not express myself if I hold on to that shame and that guilt of saying something wrong, of hurting someone else, right? So that shame is what, suppressing that emotion plus adding shame to that is what swells up that throat. Self blame, sometimes even self pity. I haven't written that here. Self pity, intense anger can also lead. And all of this is suppressed, yeah? All of these emotions are being felt by the person, but they're all being suppressed. Chronic fatigue syndrome. This is just an insane level of tiredness. Way too much tiredness. It just gets worse with mental and physical activity. The people who experience CFS also have symptoms of light sensitivity, tender lymph nodes again around the armpit and the neck, chills, night sweats, shortness of breath, irregular heartbeat, digestive issues, trouble concentrating again, because if you're really tired, your brain doesn't function very well. Brain fog is very common, and you'll see chronic fatigue in arthritis and fibro and lupus, in some of the ones that we spoke about earlier in EBV. So it can show up as a symptom, it can show up as a syndrome itself, as a disease itself, as part, and it can show up along with another autoimmune disease. So with chronic fatigue, with arthritis, with fibro, with lupus, with all of these that you're seeing here, the emotional root causes, some of them are feeling unseen. When And feeling unseen is actually for everything, because we're suppressing and then it shows up in the body in the form of rashes, in the form of pimples, in the form of like acne, right? In the form of a swelling like lupus or Hashimoto. So we are denying our body from being seen, being known by the world, feeling unheard, feeling oppressed. Abuse is a huge one for these, because the pain that is experienced, the tiredness and the helplessness that's experienced in the body, is the body's memory of emotional or physical abuse. So I am someone who went through fibro for over 14 years, and we have arthritis in the family as well. So the pains that I used to experience in my hand, in my legs. So it started with my legs, then it went to my back. Then when I started using my hands for writing, it went to my hands. When I started singing, I started feeling dizzy, and then my throat started hurting. It would start. There was inflammation everywhere in the body. So by the time I was 19, like I couldn't move on most days when I was in college. So what I would do is not the medicine for fibro is antidepressants. Now, none of these things have cures. You can only manage the symptoms, right? According to modern medicine. So the medicine was an antidepressant, and I would not take medication at all. So the alternative was to just sit there and just wait for the pain to go. Now the pain never goes, but if you keep doing things even though you're in pain, at some point you become numb and just paralyzed. You just won't be able to lift your hand up. You won't be able to lift that leg up. You just end up falling down. And it gets to that point. It did not get to that point for me for a good 10, 12 years, but it finally did get to that point. So, this is because on the inside, I used to feel extremely defensive, lonely. I couldn't speak up about my problems. When you have issues like this and there's no cure, most of the doctors will tell you it's all in your head, especially if you're a kid, right? They will tell you it's just because of stress. They will tell you there is no problem. And this is so they can it's so that the doctor thinks that by saying that the patient will not overthink it. But the problem with autoimmune diseases is that the emotional aspect comes in with overthinking. We are very analytical in nature. It is very inherent in us. The body automatically analyzes. We're very good at it. But because we don't trust ourselves, because we don't have the discernment, because we're not able to speak up, because there's been abuse, there's been misunderstanding, we are not able to show up authentically with ourselves and in front of others. So we're constantly battling with ourselves. Do I say something? Do I not say something? That battle is what reflects in the health. Because the body is in constant battle with itself, right? So there's societal pressure. And another thing is we are a sponge for other people's stress and problems, especially women, because this is a very generational pattern. Now, things like arthritis or fibro or anything that is musculoskeletal, between the bones and the muscle, that's that gap in between, that's where anger is stored. That's also where courage is stored. This is for everyone. But when that anger isn't able to get out of the system, it starts creating pain, starts creating friction, because it needs to flow. All energy needs to flow in the body. So the pain that you're experiencing between in your bones, in your joints, is anger. It's high levels of anger. Even if you're afraid, even if you're experiencing fear and lack of self-worth, there is still an element of anger there. So one of the key things to work on is expressing and accepting your anger. And we have been taught that showing anger is not a good thing. We should always show up calm and collected and loving and compassionate in front of others. So when we suppress emotions that are very natural to the human body or to the inner child, it shows up as a disease. And when we keep doing it and keep doing it because we're so strong and we're so powerful and we can hold that space for so many people, so many people's lack of boundaries, lack of respect towards us, we end up, our body ends up exploding. Because energy has to flow. So if it cannot flow the right way, it will flow the wrong way. So it will go through the cells and out of the skin, through the joints, through the bones and out. And because we are in constant battle with ourselves, or I shouldn't say it, I shouldn't say it, I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do that. When that heaviness comes in, when we put that pressure on ourselves or when someone else is giving us that pressure, it becomes a battle because you're literally one part of you is pushing one side and the other part of you is pushing another side. And you just keep squeezing and squeezing and squeezing, and that's the lack of freedom. You start feeling suffocated. How many of you experiencing diseases actually feel suffocated? Yeah. So there's also lack of grounding, lack of belongingness, not knowing where you belong, right? That's what creates a lack of grounding. Your core, your home, your stability, or the earth, it's like an earthquake. It's always been one thing after the other. It's always been, I always have to be on high alert. I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know what's going to happen. So such people are always on high alert. So even if mentally they're not, their body's kind of attuned to that. So either they are on high alert, or you'll see that one or both of their parents have always been on high alert. In such cases, one or both parents are or have been extremely anxious themselves. So it's like, did you do this? Did you do that? Oh, but you didn't clean this, but you didn't clean that. So when this happens, there's a trauma already created in the body that, oh my God, I have to always be on high alert. I have to always be very, very aware of what's going on around me. And awareness is fine, but the trigger point is that your nervous system is always feeling threatened. So it's always feeling like even if a bird is flying, oh my God, that's an attack. Someone's going to attack me. That's how the body starts responding. And that's why that's why the immune system starts attacking, because it is started perceiving a bird flying also as a threat. It has started perceiving a speck of dust as threat. So an allergy is formed. And then very soon you'll notice that around certain people, you'll feel very drained and tired. Suddenly you start experiencing aches and pains because that person, that environment is reminding you of a childhood experience where you have felt threatened, where the immune system has felt threatened. Another reason, another emotional root cause is not knowing when to stop. This is especially for fibromyalgia. Even if you have pain, even if you're feeling tired, or if you have energy. For example, a person has an abundance of energy and they just keep going and going and going and going. There are people who go to the gym for 4, 5, 6 hours because in that moment they don't feel any pain. They feel so driven and energetic. And then it can actually hurt their system. Maybe for the next 3 weeks, you start feeling the pain later, right? And this is the case for everyone, actually. So you do it only for 30 minutes, for 1 hour, for 2 hours at the max. You need to know what your body's limit is. So the issue here is not knowing what your limit is. You keep giving, you keep taking, you keep doing when you're supposed to stop. Obviously, that you will get drained. You'll run out of juice. You'll get tired. It's common sense. It's like a wheel. You've got to oil it. You've got to massage yourself. You've got to have that self-care. So just because you can doesn't mean you should. Just because you have the capability and ability does not mean you need to actually perform the act or actually speak. And just because this is for all diseases, because expression is an issue, just because you have the knowledge doesn't mean you keep sharing it to just anyone and for hours on end. This is why with self-help and things like that, we say take a payment. Don't do everything for free. Take something in return, because the body needs to know that its energy is valuable. You need to know that you are valuable. There is a lack of self-value, self-worth with every single disease, every single autoimmune disease. Because so virus, the root emotion of virus is lack of self-worth, an unhealthy virus. So if a virus is there in CFS and arthritis and fibro and lupus and candida in vitiligo, in so many things, if it's playing a role, it means the root cause of everything is lack of self-worth. So you need to know your value. And the core is we do not know our value. How many people over here actually know what they're worth? And so we get super drained and tired because there's so much going on in the body. We start saying, I don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do. MS, I think this is the last one. Multiple sclerosis affects the central nervous system. So it attacks it, the immune system attacks its tissue, right? So it removes the myelin sheath and things like that. So when these things happen, I'm not getting into the details of that, but when these things happen, axonal degeneration is what you call it. There is no communication between the neurons. It's not possible. Okay, so that the link that is there where the information is transferred from one neuron to the other, that communication is almost or fully lost. So the issue here is lack of communication, not being able to communicate, especially with relationships. So look at the symptoms and everything that you experience. Look at the symptoms. What exactly happens? And then you know that, convert that into the emotion, and then you'll understand, okay, this is the emotional root cause. Some of the symptoms, one second, it's on me. Some of the symptoms here are cognitive impairment, difficulty walking, speaking, understanding, reading, writing, things like that. Fatigue, tingling sensations in the body, because of course it's affecting the neurons, right? Nervous system. So nervous system is in charge of communication. It sends information to the rest of the body. So the major problem here is sending that information, communication, right? Muscle stiffness, spasms, these are all symptoms. So the root causes here would be lack of discernment, because you are not able to cognitively understand what's going on, right? So you will not be able to identify right from wrong, or not be able to analyze things. not be able to see things clearly. And that's what discernment is, to be able to see things clearly for what it is. The fear of moving forward. When you're not able to walk, we walk forward, right? When we're not able to walk, it means there's a fear of moving forward. Self-pity. Self-pity, gossip, spreading rumors, lying to yourself, lying to others, these are all root causes of MS. Most of the people I've seen with MS don't feel good enough in their family, even though they're given a lot. Somehow they keep feeling, they have that self pity that, oh no, nobody's there for me, nobody's there for me. And this they feel on the inside. And you'll notice that somewhere they are spreading gossip. What they hear here, they'll go and tell someone else. And they always want to be involved in decision making. So they do have problems with authority, with the need to control. They feel unworthy of their family's love. You won't feel the need to be constantly in somebody's life and be involved in everybody's life and have the need to show that you are important if underneath you don't feel important yourself. So they have a habit of over expression. So that's an emotional root cause as well, expressing too much, so not knowing again when to stop, and inability to be honest. So most of these diseases have a genetic or ancestral predisposition. We'll go one by one. One is the experiences our ancestors have had in the land. Now, our belief systems, our subconscious, our the way we perceive the world, the way we act, these things are passed down our DNA. That's why we look at our ancestral line. And if our ancestors have lived on a land where there has been war, there's been invasion, there has been bombing, disputes, conflict, natural disasters, it means they would have experienced things like theft, feeling unsafe because you don't know when someone's going to show up and hurt you. They would have experienced things like loss of home, loss of hope, loss of faith. A lot of religious institutions have been bombed in the past, especially. We know of these things, so it creates that sense of I don't know where to go when you are taken away from your land and when you're made to be a slave in another person's land. Oppression happens. So this is all the trauma that the land holds. And if our ancestors have grown up in that land, they will carry this in their DNA because it's trauma, right? So it immediately affects the nervous system. Then we have gender roles. So within male and female genders, women usually experience more of these diseases, or men with a more feminine or female quality. Reason being, women had a lot of duties related to taking care of others emotionally. You need to always take in your partners or your fathers or your kids' problems and deal with it on your own. So men had their own duties of being protective, of being territorial, being the breadwinner for the family. So when you move forward generations, women have also started working, but we still carry an aspect inside of us that says that no, we are not supposed to work, we're not supposed to earn because we don't know how to. It's a man's job to earn. We carry things like if you have ancestors who had very rich, strict traditions about how women need to be once they're married, about studies, things like that. Some have aspects of prostitution. These things create trauma in the body, right? Because women are not allowed to speak. Men on many levels are not allowed to speak. Men are not supposed to cry. Women are too emotional. So now women want to be hyper masculine. They want to show the world that no, I can do a 30-day job, right? But what we forget is that we are cyclical in nature and men are not. So we are living in a world that is predominantly made for men. This world, this society was created for men. This work culture was created for men. So when we try to fit into the male society, it's not going to work. So now what we need to do is we need to recreate a society where we can have both a society that is conducive to women and men and all other genders. So you'll have societal obligations to your in-laws, to your children. You always need to be there for them. You always need to provide for them. Suppression, oppression. In some families, men are more dominant. In the maternal systems, women are more dominant. But in many maternal systems, Kerala, for example, largely follows a maternal system. But even then, after communism and all, it has become very masculine. So you're carrying a maternal system with patriarchy in it. It is completely messed up. There's added pressure there. And even in the Indian community itself, it is like that. It's not just in the South India, but largely in the Indian community itself, it is like that. Even in the African community. So, because if you see, we've always had this wise woman role that was going on. So intuition used to be important, medicine used to be important, or seeking advice from them used to be important. At the same time, once colonialism and these things happened, all of those things started being suppressed. So these things play roles together. And when we've experienced so much of suppression and oppression, it is passed down genetically. And we have that memory still lives in the body because it's teaching us something positive. Or we just don't know how to live without it. We only know how to live a life of pain. So, although we are educated today, we know that we're not supposed to be living in pain all the time. We're supposed to be loving ourselves. We don't know how to. We don't know how we would receive all that comfort and that support without it. Family dynamics. So, domination, I spoke about that. There have been a lot of cases of domestic abuse that have not been spoken about ancestrally. Lack of freedom for both men and women, male and female, of being able to go out and just do whatever they want, explore the world. Those things were not allowed before. So infidelity, when you are so oppressed and suppressed, and when you have so many obligations from the family, from the society, from the government, you will start looking for love somewhere else. It was and it still is very, very, very common. And so that creates more trauma, that my partner will leave me. These people leave me, and that creates more pain in the body, creates more unsafety, more emotional abuse within the self, more threatening situations. Like marriage is always going to be a threat, or having friends is always going to be a threat. So we end up doing things just so we can be alone. And everything's happening subconsciously, right? So if there's an unsafe environment, that also adds to the trauma. Societal rules. Societally, we needed to always stick together in the past. We needed to always be in each other's business, because it was an act of protecting oneself, protecting the herd. And in many ways, that was amazing. But today, it has turned into gossip. It has turned into jealousy, comparison. Oh, my child did this, your child didn't do that. Or your child did this, my child couldn't do it. So I'm not good enough, my child is not good enough. And our parents have also done this to us. The other kid got more marks than you, or the other kid looks better than you. Things like fat shaming, um, probing on somebody's lack of intelligence. I say lack in quotes because there is no lack of intelligence. Everyone is intelligent in their own way. So there's a lot of societal pressure, and societal pressure always creates guilt and shame, which will 100% be playing as root causes for all diseases. And when these things prolong, it creates an autoimmune disease. Discrimination is another issue that creates trauma, right? So, like I said earlier, suppression causes any and all illnesses. So, if you've got rashes on your skin, for example, you have issues with being seen. It's the first thing that people see: your face, your skin. Your skin also protects you, so your boundaries are improper. Your skin also shows your color, who you are, right? So, identity. Usually, it's gender related identity and gender related shame that I shouldn't be a woman, I shouldn't be a man, I shouldn't be anything in between. Feeling unprotected because, like I said, it's a layer of protection. Fatigue or pain usually happens because of inflammation. Inflammation happens because the body is stressed. So there is something in the environment or a thought that is stressing the person. There is a stressor. Each time there's a pain, it could be the same or a different stressor. So you have to check what that stressor is. You have to sit with yourself and tell your body, okay, I'm ready to listen to you. Let me see let me go through the day. The moment the pain has started, because with autoimmune diseases, it's been happening for so long. Now your body is so good at telling you what is happening exactly in that moment. So the moment the stress starts, the stressor comes in, the body will react with that pain or that fatigue or that issue. Especially with pain and fatigue, it's instant. It takes seconds. So find out what the stressor is. If you have numbness, it's usually feelings of giving up, helplessness, disassociation from yourself. You don't want to be in your body. You don't want to be a part of yourself. There is self-hate on some level. Not knowing when to stop working, and helplessness. If there's an organ malfunction, digestive issues, for example, irritable bowel syndrome, right? This confusion or lack of discernment. Because it's like it's circuiting. Imagine the body, the organ is circuiting. That only happens when it's like going crazy and wild. Like, I don't know what to do. So there's too much information coming in from the brain or from outside. The body's perceiving it as absolute chaos and confusion, and we don't know what to do. So it's getting triggered. It's getting triggered by confusion. Not wanting to see the truth. That's why we also have lack of discernment. Anything to do with seeing. So seeing other people for who they are, spotting the red flags, the green flags, right? And loss of control. So imagine that circuit going crazy and wild. That's out. We go out of control, right? So it creates that loss of control. So with people with autoimmune diseases are always living in survival. We're always on survival mode. And the problem with being in the survival mode all the time is we're always threatened. Who's the next person coming in to invade my space and hurt me? That is the constant question in the bodies or in the brain. So the key here for healing is to feel safe enough. So whatever healing we do, whatever self-work we do, whatever you do to help yourself, the goal should always be to make yourself feel safe enough to explore and accept all of your emotions. Your anger is not wrong, your jealousy is not wrong, not feeling good enough is not wrong, your confidence, your arrogance, your lack of it, nothing is wrong. Nothing is right either, but the problem is you have shamed and guilt tripped yourself into making yourself believe that it's all wrong. So you need to be able to accept all your emotions. And that's a journey. That's the journey of healing so that they can be integrated. So when we accept that, okay, all parts of me exist and they can exist simultaneously. What we're doing is, okay, I like the part of me that wears pink, but I don't like the part of me that wears black. So I will, but the body wants to do both. Brain's like, no, I'll only do this one thing. And so they'll pick that one up. Okay, this is more important to me. I'm going to suppress this side of me that wants to wear black. When that happens, the black will want to be seen more and more because you're suppressing it. And that is what causes the disease. So does anyone have any questions so far? I know it is a lot of information. Okay. So next, Sreebala will be talking about how you can actually resolve these issues. We'll do a healing demo. Yes, Vanita, you want to say something?
Yeah, what one in the very beginning when you said when we perceive life via our emotions, right? So there was a little thought in my head then to ask if emotions are the source or the root. I mean, is it the cause or the effect of that perception? I mean, are we feeling something and then that's causing a reaction in the body, which could be a rash or something? Or is it because you said that the body is threatened even before the immune system starts to attack? So, is the emotion really an outcome of something that's happened as an action that I'm feeling like that? Or, you know what I'm saying? I mean, is emotion the root source or the effect of an incident or trauma of sorts, as you said? And number two was like RF, because I know that most closely. If my grandmom had it, my mom had it, my aunts have it, I have it, and my daughter has it. So, so whether it was the land trauma or a societal, uh, how is the passing on happening, and how do you kind of where do you break it, or it's expected to be kind of passed on in the line, especially the female lineage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So your first question, it is both the cause and the effect. Emotions are both the cause and the effect. So for example, if we talk about anger as an emotion, right? You get angry because you perceive something to be unjustified and you're not able to control it, you're not able to communicate it, it's just not feeling right for the body. So the anger pops up. So the perception creates that emotion, which creates the disease. Now, from the effect side, if I am in pain, I can feel angry, If I'm, for example, I'm in pain, I'm doing something, I'm not able to do it, maybe I'm not able to hold a bottle properly, I'm not able to open it properly. That can be very irritating and frustrating for me. I get angry, I throw it down. Again, I would say that the perception creates the emotion, but once you are sick or once you have the disease, that can also create an emotional issue. So it can be the cause and the effect, and there's always a link. It keeps bouncing back and forth. So if you feel angry, you can create the illness. If you already have the illness, of course, we know the illness expresses what has been suppressed. So, right? So instead of
Yeah.
looking at it that way, instead of looking at it from a sense of, okay, where is this coming from? If we have a perspective of, okay, right now I feel helpless while doing this. That means before this also I was feeling helpless. Let me figure out what's coming. So it's there, that emotion's there on that emotion or that feeling is there on both ends, is what I'm trying to say.
True. True.
And that makes it super
Yeah.
easy to identify uh, where it's coming from, where that emotion's coming from. Now, for the second
Yeah.
question, you asked about the genetic, right? So, like
Mhm.
I said in the beginning, for a lot of these diseases, a lot of these viruses, and all are passed down. Like EBV, we all have, almost all of us have it, but it's dormant. So it's all there in the cellular memory. It's there, not in the cellular memory, it's all there in the DNA, right? Because it's being passed on, but it's not active. For anything to be activated, there needs to be an emotion, there needs to be a trigger for that emotion to arise. That trigger is usually, for pain, it's usually trauma. So in your family, when you look at, okay, most of the women are the ones who are experiencing. So this trigger will be specific to women. Maybe how men have treated them or how they feel women should be. So if you're a girl child, you will have your own belief system about how a girl should be. So it may be related to shame, your reproduction, or your reproductive system. It could be related to your sexuality. These things will be the core of the core trigger, and that will activate that. So if you feel ashamed of yourself in some sense, so for example, for me, if I feel ashamed about getting physical with someone before a certain age as a girl, because I've been told, or my genetically it's been known that, or ancestrally it's been known that it's not right for women to be that way, that can, that's enough, that's an enough trigger. That shame, that guilt is trigger enough for me for that disease to get activated. And it can happen at a very, very young age, because it's the perception, right? The moment that thought comes in, even slightly, immediately the disease activates. And this is for everything. It's not just for diseases, it's for everything. But today, since we're talking about diseases, this is how it works.
Thanks for that.
Most welcome. So I'll give this to Sreebala.
Thank you, Haritha. Thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure to be doing this with you. So I think I will add a little to your answers to what Vanita asked. So regarding the emotions, you asked whether it's a cause or whether it is the effect of, the pain. So what happens is when we have the same emotions, we have the same thoughts. When we have the same thoughts, we make the same choices. And from those choices, we have the same behavior. And the same behaviors lead to same experiences, again, the same emotions. So like Haritha said, we that emotion and we create that pattern there. So, and the end result is that emotion again. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, there's the volume
Your
was a
voice
little
is disturbed.
It got
cracked.
Is it clear now? Is it clear now?
Better, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Bit
So
better.
I
there
think
is
there
a
is a lag.
Is it better? I think it is my connection. Is it better now?
Yes, now it is better.
Yeah, let's try. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So you will see that there is a pattern there. It will always start with emotions, leading to the same thoughts and experiences and your choices and behavior, ending up with the same emotion again. So, like Haritha said, you will notice a pattern and you have to break that pattern. Again, from that ancestral point of view, also, um, you don't have to go through the same experience that your mother or grandmother went through. Like, for example, if they were treated differently as women, even if you are treated, well and with equality and all of that, the effect of the trauma that they had is passed on to you, right? Even if you have a different experience now, like Haritha said, it can be triggered because it is dormant in the DNA. You don't need to have that experience right now, but the trauma can be triggered. Yeah. So, yeah, Haritha, you can stop sharing the screen so that I can see everyone and then we'll come back to it. So, hi, everyone. So I'll just be giving a little bit more on what Haritha has already talked about. She's given a lot of information, a lot of content. Basically, I think something that what you all can remember is that it is suppression, lack of expression that leads to autoimmune. It is whatever you are not able to express, your body will express it. So I've been on an autoimmune journey myself since the last 7 years. I was diagnosed with lupus in 2016, and it was very difficult. And here, Vanita is my teacher, and she's one of the first, people who actually helped me out of it because she runs school of dance called Movement Mantra, which is catering to Parkinson's patients and arthritis patients. So it was a lot of help, and she's one of the most compassionate teachers I've ever seen in my life. So it helped me physically. It really helped me because I couldn't do fast movements. I had to be very, very gentle with my body. I think that it was a huge wake-up call. The autoimmune was a huge wake-up call to look into my patterns physically, emotionally, where I went wrong and where all I was suppressing, because it's the whole system. The system that is supposed to protect you is against yourself. So how bad? I mean, it can't be worse than that, right? So that war, when did I start this war within myself? That is when I started looking into these patterns, emotional patterns, and learning to break it one by one. And that is when my healing journey started. And I think the very reason why people like Haritha and myself are able to sit and talk to you all about it is because we've done that analysis of our unhealthy patterns and taken that step to break it. There's no other way. I mean, there's no other way. You have to go back into loving yourself, I know this has been said time and again about self-love and loving yourself, but how do you really do it? What do you do? How do you integrate this self-love into your daily lifestyle, into your daily life and into your existence? So basically, what I'm going to talk about is energy. Okay, the whole thing is energy. And when you have these very intense negative emotions, the energy in your body is blocked. That is why when you are angry, you can feel your chest tighten. Sometimes we shiver. Some people just shiver when they are angry because it's in the body, right? It's all stored in the body. And we feel our stomach churning when we get anxious or when we are triggered. And sometimes we can feel, your arms hurting. It's all in the body. All the trauma, all the emotions are in the body. And what you feel in the body is a disruption in the flow of energy. So it is very important that we learn to manage this energy, allow it to flow freely through the body. So we've all heard that the body knows to heal itself, especially those who follow Louis Hay, knows that a body has infinite wisdom. It is if our body is able to do it, then why isn't it doing it? If the body can just heal, we just give a command to the body, my leg is paining, please heal it. It's not happening, right? Even though the body can do it. So why is it not happening? So the two things that you can remember is mind is stronger than the body, because mind is in the metaphysical and body is physical. So if you have to cure the physical, we need to take care of the metaphysical, right? Because that's where your thoughts are, your beliefs are, your unresolved trauma is. Everything is in that metaphysical mind. So it is very important to take care of the mind, to manage your mind. And the second one is energy. The body doesn't have the energy to heal. And where is this energy gone? It is used up in running these programs. Like, these programs are what keeps us going. And if the program is unhealthy, a lot of energy is spent in keeping these programs running. Your trauma running, your belief system running. So we don't have the energy to heal our body. So the first thing, the basic thing that you can do is call back this energy. We need energy to heal. The body cannot heal if it doesn't have the energy. So it's very important that how are you managing your energy, right? So what I'm going to give today, the EFT. I mean, it has been life-changing for me. EFT is emotional freedom technique. So it's basically a tapping technique. I'm sure all of you have heard of acupuncture, right? Where we poke needles to the energy meridians. So we're doing the same thing, but less painful because we are using our fingertips to tap on the meridian points. So what we are doing when we tap is we send kinetic energy to our energy meridian system, thereby giving a message to the nervous system, which helps in all the physiological functions. So basically, we are trying to calm down our nervous system. Like Haritha said, the threat. We're trying to come off the threat state into a rest state. So when you do the tapping regularly, your nervous system is more or less in a rest and relax state, right? So we need to have a regulated nervous system and a flow of energy in the body to maintain physical and mental health. And these things are like basics, the basics which none of us know. I mean, these things are so important, which we are not taught anywhere, we are not told anywhere. So this is why it is so important to manage our energy. Yeah, so what I'm going to give you all is a general tapping. We'll all tap together so that you all can get the feel of tapping, right? But what we are doing is a general tapping. So usually in my sessions, what I do is we look at your individual issue and we go to the root of it. The root of the issue is most of the time in your childhood or in your ancestral patterns or from your past life or whatever. Okay, so we actually go to the root of where your issue started and we resolve. And it is different for each person. It's not the same for all, right? We all don't have the same issue. We didn't have the same upbringing. We don't have the same belief system. We don't have the same trauma. So it's different for each. So today I'll do a general tap. Even with the general tapping, you will see the difference. You will see how your body feels. because EFT is a psychosomatic energy meridian therapy. So we combine psychology, where we are talking about our trauma. Why we talk about trauma? When we talk or think about our issues, the energy comes up, the block happens in the body. And it is to that blocked area, we're sending the kinetic energy. So it's a combination of psychology and Chinese medicine, acupuncture. It's an energy meridian therapy where we are actually bringing our energy into an aligned state. So during tapping, you may have a lot of emotions come up. Don't worry about it, because they're coming up, they will go. It will go out of your body. Okay, so don't get worried if a lot of emotions come up. And also during tapping, you will yawn, you will burp, because that's body's way of releasing the blocked energy. So don't hold back anything. Let it go, you know. So it's very important to feel all these emotions in the body. Body is very important. We look at the body only when it has an issue. But the body has so much wisdom that it will guide you throughout your life, and we don't really pay it, especially when we have a negative or an emotion which we don't like. We don't really pay attention to what the body is saying, where it is stored, and that is when the body has to scream. When we are not paying attention, eventually the body will scream for attention, and by then we are very sick. We have an extremely bad inflammation, we are not able to move, but the body has been giving you signs from before which we never bothered to pay attention to. So that is why even when the body starts giving you some kind of sign, a slight pain or a slight stiffness, like Haritha said, what am I feeling here? Anger. Who am I angry with? The moment you accept it, the moment you acknowledge itself, the pain actually starts shifting, because all the feelings just want to be seen, just like how you want to be seen. All your emotions just want to be heard and seen and acknowledged. Always see your emotions as your 5-year-old self, as a small, younger self that is just screaming for attention. And if you deny that attention, it will make sure it gets that attention. By then we are already, in a very bad state. So we don't want to go there, right? So these are the aspects of self-love and compassion that we talk about. Being very aware of body. When the body is saying something, when the body asks for rest, how many of us really respect that? And the body says, I am tired. Oh, nothing like that. I can climb Mount Everest right now. Nothing like that. We just completely ignore it when the body is like, please rest. Please, I am tired. So these are the basic things that we need to pay attention to. And also, like Haritha said, we have created that image. Superwoman. Oh my God. This can ruin your life. She's a superwoman. She does everything. She takes care of the kids. She works. Oh, wow. You all should read Gabor Mate's Myth of Normal. Everything that's glorified as normal is your enemy. Oh, wow, she does this, she does that, he does this, he does that. And then you feel so important, but your body is like, please slow down, dude. You can't do all this. No, but I have this image and this is how I'm respected. So that need to fit in, the need to belong, the need to be seen, but not in a healthy way, right? We're not, that is where compassion begins. When we listen to our body and when we rest and we are able to tell others, I am not working today. No, I cannot climb Everest. Sorry. I am resting today. I am just sitting at home and watching Netflix. There's nothing wrong in that. Absolutely nothing wrong in that. Yes, Vanita.
Yeah, I totally agree and relate with that. But it's just that even while I'm listening to you, I feel the day I say that, you know what, it ain't happening and I'm going to watch my Netflix, I feel that I want to give rise to another emotion of guilt or not being right is my own ego, not conforming to that model that has been built over the years.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm ill at ease, I'm restless, I feel, oh God,
Yeah.
I probably ride on a guilt trip for some time, but I know it can't be discussed in detail here, but that's just, it made me smile because there are days, as you said, you ignore what the body is wanting to do, but you do what you are to do.
Yeah.
And that's where the
The
attack happens.
conflict. That's the conflict, right? And that is, the conflict within is what will obviously give rise to an inflammation, because it is conflict. The war within is what gives rise to inflammation, that confusion. And also, like when Haritha was saying, I remembered, it's also, if you have had a parent who were very loving and caring, but also abusive, you see the confusion of a child growing up with such a parent. Okay, does she love me? Oh no, she loves me. Oh, then why is she beating me? But she, okay, maybe she, you know, it's that confusion that is also your inner conflict. Because for a child, the child cannot make sense of anything. It's just looking at the father, mother, the caretaker, and trying to understand what is it. And when there is confusion, there's no consistent emotion there. The conflict is within. If you have raised in that confused state, there'll always be a confusion inside you. Oh, is this right? Is this wrong? Should I do this? Should I not that? Oh, is this okay? That's because there was no consistency. So one parent is very loving, one parent is very, and the same parent is loving and abusive. So the child that does not know what consistency is, consistent emotion, consistent support. So the conflict inside develops, and that guilt, like you said, the guilt is coming up from your programming, right? The programming that I have to be like this. That's all. The moment you break that and you allow yourself to rest, that allowing yourself to rest is so important. I allow myself, because it's only you. It's not anybody else. It's not anybody else who's not allowing you to rest. So I allow myself to rest. I allow myself to watch Netflix without guilt. Allow yourself to make mistakes, to fall, to be that very normal person. So we are the blocks. So once we break the pattern and we get into that healthy pattern, then that guilt will disappear. Yes, Nina. Yes.
Yeah, it's also sometimes it's a self-worthiness we feel, because you should be always productive, you should always be doing things, you cannot. That's how I was. Even if when my body is tired and I cannot just get out of my bed, I will push my body. I've taxed my body so much, and every time when my body will react, I used to always fall sick. Every other day I have something, a lot of issues, but only when I listen to my body's message and I give it proper rest. For example, for today, from morning, I'm not feeling very okay, but I have not done anything today. I just sat here. I'm just listening. I just sat here, but it's okay. Now I'm okay with doing that. It's okay to not do anything at times when you really need the moments.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So for that to happen without guilt is where we need to break patterns, because especially women, I think women have that, because men generally don't have it, because they work, they have a work time and then they have a rest time. When they are resting, they're actually resting. Like the jokes, when the man in the house says, I'm going to sleep, he's actually going to sleep. But when the woman says, I'm going to sleep, she's actually cleaning the kitchen, she's actually wiping this, she's actually closing the door, shutting the light. So when the man says he is resting, he's actually resting. When the woman says she's resting, she's either going and checking something, doing something, listening to something, checking the homework. So rest, I think women, it's a women thing, because again, conditioning and how women have been taught all of that. So if all of you are ready, let's do some tapping. If there are any questions that you all want to ask, you can ask. Okay. So let me see if there is anything else I want to include, yeah, it's mostly about energy, how the lack of flow of energy will lead to arthritis. Aging, also aging, that's why you see a lot of, because these Chinese medicine and these all these guys, they focus on the energy, the prana, the chi, so they make sure that their energy, vital energy, is really maintained. That is why a lot of them look, you can't really tell their age. They most of the time they all look like they're always young. They don't age so fast, because they for them everything is taking care of that vital energy in the body. So if you're able to focus on that energy and manage that, and then also look at your patterns and unhealthy self-talk. Self-talk will reveal a lot of your beliefs. How do you talk to yourself? Oh my God, I have an inflammation again. So you are actually not very compassionate. Where is all this? Why do I have it now? What is your tone and what is your energy when you are talking to yourself? Oh, I can never do this right. We say it all. I can never get this right. Oh no, I am so clumsy. Right? So these will reveal a lot of your deepest beliefs about yourself. And that is something, that is a place that you can start, how is my self-talk? How do I talk about myself to myself? Oh, I'm so bad at this. Oh God, just look at me. Sometimes we do it to fit in. You don't want to be that perfect person. So when someone else says something, we will say 3 times that. Oh, you look at me. I am even worse. You know, right? Because we just want to fit in. We just want to belong. We don't want the other person to think she's the only one bad. No, no, we are worse than you. So don't feel bad about yourself. So all the self-talk also matters. Okay, so shall we do some tapping then? So, Haritha, can you just share that tapping points? I'll just, you all can follow me. I will lead, but still, you can look at it to get an idea of the points that we're going to tap. Okay. So we're going to start with this point. This is a karate chop point. It's there, but it's not shown as a first, but we'll start from here. So any hand with the other hand, 2 fingers, we just tap on the side. Okay. That's it. Very, very gentle. You don't have to, kill yourself. You just have to tap very gently. Next is top of your head here. Top of the head. Yeah. And then beginning of the eyebrow. So these are actually connecting to your organs also. Okay. This is bladder. This is then side of the eye. This is gallbladder. Then below the eye, this is stomach. Yeah. Below the nose, this is a governing meridian. Below the lower lip, this is a central meridian. So when you're actually tapping, you're also tapping on your organs. Then below the neck collarbone, a little 1 inch below and 1 inch outside, this is a kidney meridian. Okay. Then underarm, side of your breast, this is the spleen. This is a spleen meridian. Then all your fingers, side of your fingers. Then you have heart, lungs, stomach, and all here. So all your fingers, side of the nail here. You can use any hand, and you just need to tap with the other hand, and we end it with karate chop point. Okay. So I will lead, and you just have to follow me. You can stop sharing, Haritha, so that everyone can see. And maybe you can pin me or spotlight for everyone so that they can see me.
You're already pinned.
I'm pinned already, so I'll do the spotlight. Okay. Can you all see me better now? Yeah. Okay. So then I think this will be helpful in tapping. So before we start the tapping, I want all of you to just close your eyes. Just sit in a very comfortable position and make sure you have both your hands available for tapping. Take a couple of deep, beautiful breaths. Inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. One more time, deep inhalation through your nose. Completely exhale through your mouth. One more time, deep inhalation. Completely aligning yourself with your body. Completely exhale. And just do a quick scan of your body from head to toe. Just being aware, just being present in this moment. And I want you to think of any physical issue that you have, any physical symptom, pain, illness. Keep your eyes closed and just, because physical issues are easy to start with. So any physical issue that you have, just focus on that pain or the symptom that you have, or any kind of discomfort that you're feeling. Just bring your attention to that. And I want you to rate it from 1 to 10. 10 being extremely uncomfortable, 1, of course, being not so bad. Just give it a number, whatever comes up for you. Don't think too much. Just so that you can rate it and you can just go back and see after the tapping. So give it any number. Like if it is really, really bad, you can give it a 9 or a 10. If it is okay, not so bad, you can give it a 4. Whatever comes up for you. If you have given a number already, and if you are ready, then you can open your eyes and we can start tapping. Everybody ready? You can just put a thumbs up. Okay. I hope everybody's ready. So I will say you just have to focus on the symptom or the emotion or whatever it is that you're feeling. Just focus on that and repeat my words. I hope all of you are muted. Yeah. Repeat my words. I'll give you time and just tap along. Okay. Just tap along. Just focusing on the symptom. So let's do it. Okay. Even though I have all this pain in my body and I don't feel so great about it, I choose to accept what I am going through. I love and accept myself completely. Even though I don't know what to do about this and how to make myself feel better, I can choose to be open to accepting that my body can heal itself and be at peace in my body. Even though all this fatigue, you can replace it with pain, illness, discomfort, whatever feels right for you, is present. It's completely okay for me to relax and become at ease. Now you can start tapping from the top of your head to all the points below. Okay, you can look at me. Otherwise, it may be difficult for you to know. I am noticing this pain in my, wherever you are noticing it. This pain or fatigue or symptom has been there for a long time. All this pain in my ever since, you can fill it up with this day or few days before, or this happened, whatever feels right for you. This pain I have in my body, I don't even know why it is there. It is completely taking over my body. I don't know what to do about it. I just want to be clear of this. I want to be healthy and free. Is that asking for too much? I'm just angry that this is happening. I just want this to be over. I want you to stop. Take a deep breath. I want you to rate that pain, symptom, illness right now. Give it a number again. The same thing that you thought of in the beginning, I want you to look and focus on that same thing and give it a number. Just note that number. And we'll continue tapping if you have already noted the number. Start from top of your head, okay? I wonder what this is really about. Why am I holding on to this? How is this even helping me? It's scary. I don't even know what to do about this. I feel so angry. You can replace it with the emotion you're feeling. Powerless, frustrated, helpless, irritated, disappointed. I feel so upset. I am trying so hard. I am fighting this illness in my body. This is what I have learned. And I just want to honor how scary this can be. So helpless. I feel so helpless. Stop, pause, breathe. I want you to rate one more time. There's a yawn, burp, let it all go out. Go back to the symptom, go back to that pain, give it a number. So first we tapped on the physical symptom. Second, we tapped on the emotions. Now we are going into a little bit into the belief below it. If something comes up, let it come up. If you're just going with the flow, go with the flow. If more emotions come up, don't worry, it'll go. Okay? Start tapping from the top of your head. When did I really start having this pain? Symptom or illness or discomfort, whatever. What if I really get better? What will happen to me if I no longer have this issue? I acknowledge all the known and unknown things contributing to this illness or symptom or pain or discomfort. I acknowledge all the deep fears and beliefs I have. What would it actually take for me to be free? What would it actually take for me to be on my side? To feel worthy enough to be healthy and happy? What if my body's wisdom does know exactly what to do? What if I can call back all my energy and invest in my healing journey? For now, I am going to acknowledge what is here. It is okay to feel what I feel. I am not any of these symptoms. Maybe I can let go and allow, completely honoring everything I notice. Maybe I can choose to support me, love me, and encourage me, and my body will respond. I can be open to something new. I forgive myself for being so hard on myself. Releasing what I no longer need and trusting my body to heal. Deep breaths as you tap. Choosing to step into emotional, physical, spiritual health and happiness. I am aware that I am deeply supported in my journey. I am allowed to be me. I don't have to be anyone else. It's safe to be me. I am safe in my body. Stop tapping. Take a couple of deep breaths. Exhale. Now the deep breath. One more. Completely exhaling. I want you to rate that problem one more time, one last time. What is the number right now? Tune into that problem, same problem. And what is your number right now? If you all can write in the chat the first number and the last number, you don't need to go to the in-between numbers. You can just see, we can just see, what it has been like for everyone. Nine to 2, great. From 3 to 1, beautiful. 3 to 1, super. 5 to 2, 5 to 3, great. 7 to 5. Lovely. 8 to 4. Very nice. Very nice. So what you all have seen, so this is very general tapping that we did. So just by sending that energy, it's basically what we have done is we've acknowledged everything that we are feeling, and we've tried to be compassionate. If it persists, doesn't, yeah, of course, if it persists, there are reasons why it's there, right? Because we have not gone into the individual issues as such. I've just given you a feel of tapping. That's all. We've not gone into individual problem because there's a reason why you have that pain. So we've not gone into that particular reason in this tapping. So we will always look at, even if it is 1 or 2, we will look at what is in that 1, what is remaining in that 1, or what is remaining in that 2, right? So, so this is what tapping does. We are actually, so when you are not able to understand the emotions or the beliefs behind something, because that is not usually easy for everyone to understand, your belief is not very easy. But if you are able to start with the physical symptom, the physical issue, which all of us can understand, my hand is paining, I randomly sneeze towards the end, that's a release. All of that is a release. That's good. So if we are able to focus on the physical issue, which all of us can do, head is paining, nose is itching, leg is paining, all that, start with that. You will see that what is the emotion behind it. Oh God, I feel miserable. I feel helpless. I'm so disappointed with myself. These are all very powerful beliefs, powerful limiting beliefs, not powerful empowering beliefs. Powerful enough to really block you from getting everything that you want, because you're basically disappointed with yourself, right? So what is the emotion? And then start asking yourself these questions. We will be sending you the script, right, Haritha? We'll be sending them the script. So journal, when you tap, ask yourself, who am I without these issues? What am I without this illness? There is a reason why we hold on to everything, which we may not consciously know. But when you journal, you will see, if I'm fully fine, what is the flip side of it? If I'm fully okay, what happens to me that is not very pleasant for me? So these are all journaling questions that you can journal on, which will give you an idea of your beliefs, your patterns, your programming that is keeping you stuck, that is keeping you ill. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, since you all have understood the benefits of tapping and how helpful it is, we will send you the tapping points and the script. This is a very general script, but to get into a habit of tapping is always good, because it will eventually help in regulating your nervous system. So yeah, so that is it, Haritha, from me. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Sreebala. I think everyone felt some difference. So I want you guys to try this out um, in your own space, in your own time. When I read the script that she sent to me, it was really, really powerful, even as a journaling prompt. So if you're not feeling a difference with tapping, always try answering those questions, because pondering upon the questions that you're asking yourself itself will give you some relief, or tell you, okay, where is this actually coming from, right? So before we close, I just want to share some self-care tips if you are experiencing an autoimmune disease, right? So your goal is to move from dis-ease to ease. That's always going to be your goal. So one thing you need to do is focus on making your life simple. The reason things are painful and difficult is because things are quite chaotic in the brain, in the body, in the environment, right? So you need to do whatever it takes to make things very, very simple, very, very straight to the point. And in that simplicity, find the luxury. So waking up in the morning, doing a little bit of gratitude, dancing around a little bit, doing some good mirror talk, telling yourself how beautiful you are, just watching plants, playing with your animals. These things increase that self-love, and it'll make your body feel very, very abundant and very, very luxurious. Okay. When the body feels luxurious, it creates space because you feel like, oh wow, everything's really good in this world. And immediately you will start feeling abundant in your health as well. Your health will reflect that because it reflects your perception. Others happen, this is the problem with people with these issues. Others' happiness and health is not your responsibility. No matter how much you want to help them, you can tell them that a way exists, but you cannot get in between their free will and change the course of their thinking or of their doing. It is absolutely not okay. We don't like it to be done to us. We cannot do it to someone else. Just because we think our way is right doesn't mean it is right for every single person out there. Okay, so I would go as far as to say for some people, if alcohol is self help, it is self help. We need to allow it. And for us, if that is self hate, it is self hate. Okay, so we need to stop taking responsibility for others. This is one of the reasons why we're not able to move forward. We want to take everyone along with us. Make time for yourself every single day without fail. These are very practical things you can and you have to do. You have to. And if there's a block, work on it, tap on it, journal, figure it out. Whatever you can do, you need to do to make time for yourself every single day. And all these things will help you get into a space of that celebration, that joy, playfulness, abundance, feeling good about yourself, feeling like everything is, no matter what's going on in my body around me, I feel confident and I feel like, we're going to get through this. Because, yes, okay, that there is light at the end of the tunnel and all of those things, have faith, pray, do all those things, it's all great. But in the moment, if you are in pain, you need to focus on what is that one thing that will bring me joy right now. If you want to experience joy, if you want to experience the pain fully, go for it. Feel it fully. But if you want to shift out of the pain, that is, if you're so tired and you're not able to find anything for like 3, 4, 6 days at a stretch, then see what's that one thing that feels just like even 1% better than what you are doing right now. It may not be the best thing, but if it's just 1% better, it will shift so much for you.
Oh,
Yes, Urmi, you want to say something? Okay. So that is it for today. This was just an introductory session. We'll have more coming up for different parts of the body. So we'll have one for skin, digestive system, one for the reproductive system, all free masterclasses. And then next year, I'm planning to do an entire program for all of these in detail so that you can learn the healing techniques, you can learn the self-help techniques, the self-love techniques, all to just completely shift out of this sickness. Okay. And if you're someone who doesn't have and who wants to help someone else, it'll help, that it's beneficial for that as well. If you want to contact Sreebala, you can contact her. She is giving a discount, a 20% discount on all her coaching sessions till 10th November. So if you want to book, go ahead, start booking. Sreebala, if you can just put in your number or email ID or something on the chat, because I didn't put it here.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you all for joining. If you have any questions, further questions, you can always ask now. The recording will be shared once it's uploaded on the website. So you'll just have to register and get it done. Most welcome. If there's any question, any comment, you can ask, and we can end the session.
Thank you both of you for doing this. I think you've covered pretty like, most of the things. And thank you so much for doing it. It was very nice. And the tapping was so beautiful. I could really release a lot. Was yawning from the time I started to tap. And I'm also feeling much better from the time I started. Thank you.
Nina, for joining.
Thank you. Neha. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. The very fact that you guys are here shows your interest in yourself, and that is a first step towards healing. Taking charge of your life and your healing journey is your responsibility. So you being here shows your interest, and you just have to be consistent with that commitment towards yourself. That is your first commitment. So we are very, very happy to see all of you take that step, and we just hope you guys move forward in this.
Exactly. Thank you, Nishi, Asha, Anisha, Urmi, Nita, Namrita.
Rita was also with me in my movement mantra class. We were together.
Awesome. Yeah, there are a lot of people from that background here.
Yeah.
Nice to see. So if you all want to, Sreebala was talking about self-love. We hosted I and two other practitioners hosted a self-love challenge that's now up on the website. So if you want, you can join that. It's over, but the recordings are up, and I'll be updating it as and when more information comes in. So it's really good if you want to integrate all your emotions, if you want to actually get to the root and heal, if you want to build a routine for yourself, if you want to understand why discipline is important and how you can be disciplined and playful at the same time. So it's just it's fun. We've done art, movement, breath work, meditation, just talking, a lot of different things. So yeah, that's also there. And we'll also be doing demo sessions later. So I will let you know about that, demo integration sessions, where you can see the depth of how deep this can go, how deep this work can go. And if you're lucky, you may be the one receiving the healing. So that will also be amazing. So I'll let you know about that as well. Okay, thank you all so much for joining, and have a wonderful day.